I'm Michael Bruce. I lead the climate tech venture investing efforts at Emerson Collective. We're a Silicon Valley-based firm that works across multiple tools, including venture capital, philanthropy, policy, arts and culture, and campaigns. Our portfolio spans from deep tech, including fusion, through to software, including Aurora Solar, as well as infrastructure technologies such as Nautilus Data Technologies. So we see climate change as a generational scale challenge that's going to require multiple tools to all work in harmony. Government's a big part of it, but ultimately there's not nearly enough capital in government coffers to solve this problem. We've got to get the market engaged, and venture capital is an early part of the market and funding innovation to drive down costs so that these decarbonized solutions are more cost effective than the fossil-based alternative. The energy market is in a very dynamic place right now. It's got two big tailwinds behind it that are going to lead to an energy system of tomorrow that looks very different than the energy system of today. One of them is rising awareness as well as discrete policy action around climate solutions, recognizing that we cannot continue to use our atmosphere as a giant latrine for carbon dioxide, and we need to move to a future where we're living in harmony with our habitat rather than fighting against it. And the other side is energy security. Went from a sleepy issue over the last decade to something that is near and dear to most geopolitical leaders' primary calculus right now. And here in the United States, we're fairly insulated from the energy security concerns because of the bounty of natural gas from fracking over the last decade. But that's not the case over in Europe. Knowing that necessity is the mother of invention, I want to go get closer to the innovators in Europe who are designing the energy system of tomorrow. The Inflation Reduction Act has really done a great job of driving focus around climate solutions. Some of the ways that it's structured really do encourage performance, not necessarily just investment. And so it is driving a real focus on how do you deliver these climate solutions in a cost-effective way so that eventually the policies can fall away. Our Hacking for Gas report came out of some reflection I was doing back in the fall of 2021 when natural gas prices were starting to go up quickly to places that I had never seen them before. And there were a variety of different drivers behind that, a low wind year, a cold winter, but it was also that Putin was keeping some gas off the market. And so having been in the Bush administration, in the United States during the last energy crisis, I quickly kind of put on my policymaker's hat and remembered what we were doing back then and how we're thinking about solving it, and thought about what's different this time. What is in the arsenal of human solutions that we didn't have 12 years ago? And the big thing was digital technologies have come a long, long way. And I also recognize that here in Silicon Valley, there's really a groundswell of digital talent wanting to enter the climate solutions area. And I saw kind of a demand for climate solutions and a potential supply of it. And I thought, how is it that we can use our network and our platform to help connect those two things? In energy, there's not a lot that's new under the sun, particularly when it comes to how you use energy better. But innovation can help lower the costs of how you deploy those things. So a few examples would be weatherization has always been the low-lying fruit. How do you make sure that you don't have energy escaping around your doors or around your windows or through your ceiling? But most people don't even know how to look and see if their home is well insulated or if their business is well insulated. Digital technologies, computer vision, can do a lot to help people identify that leakage and take very simple actions such as caulking around their windows to have a better seal. There's also issues around when you use natural gas for heating. You can displace that with a heat pump, but a lot of people are not familiar with how to go out and buy a heat pump. They're not familiar with the electrical requirements or the plumbing requirements. And so digital technologies can also help them find the right talent, or it can help train the right talent and how to install more heat pumps. So those are a couple things. Another one that we've talked about is, there's a lot more satellite imagery available today than there was a decade ago. And we can use that information to see which homes are well insulated. And if you've got snow that melts really fast on your roof, you probably need some more insulation in your attic. And so there's things like that were some low-lying fruit, easy opportunities that we thought of, and we figured if we got the right people educated around the problem, who knew the digital technologies at the forefront of today, they can probably come up with 100 more. So we're excited to see what it translates to. Generally, energy demand is fairly inelastic. When you need to heat your home, you need to heat your home. When you need to drive to work, you need to drive to work. There are things you can do over the long haul to change that demand, such as move closer to work. But most energy demand is fairly inelastic. And so traditionally, we've counted on the supply side of the market to be more elastic, to bring some additional energy volumes to market when it's needed. The challenge that Europe's running into right now is a big chunk of the supply came through a pipeline in Nord Stream 1. And with that not available, there's very few options that can bring that amount of supply to the market that quickly. The United States has built a significant amount of LNG export capacity, but that's not nearly enough to displace the amount of gas that was coming through from Europe or from Russia. So what we started thinking was, well, then how do we build elasticity into the demand side of the market? How do we get people to react to these higher prices when they open up their utility bill envelope and they see how much higher it is than it has been in the past? How can we arm them with solutions where they can take action to lower their own energy consumption? So that was kind of the thinking that led to the effort, and we're still in the early days, but we're looking for additional partners who will collaborate with us and bring new ideas or new paths to market to the table. So that was an idea to try and get people's competitive spirits unleashed, where we find that how do you get people engaged with a big problem is often you put a carrot at the end, a prize, or at least bragging rights as a way to create some competitive spirit to get people to move faster. So we've got some conversations ongoing with senior leadership in a few European countries, as well as a few US cities who are interested in entering that kind of a competitive dynamic with the sister city to see who can come up with the best digital solutions for the energy security and climate challenges. The UK and the United States have a special relationship that goes back a long way. We've got a lot of similar cultural ties, and ultimately energy is a global market. And so kind of the first step outside of the United States is you want to increase your exposure to broader global trends is often to go to the United Kingdom and find ways that we can collaborate there as a launch pad to maybe mainland Europe or potentially down into Africa as well. So we've got lots of friends who are over in the UK, and we're looking forward to finding more ways to collaborate with them as their energy markets are behaving differently than ours, and hopefully some of the innovation that we've been investing in here in the United States can be helpful in solving some of those problems, and hopefully some of the innovation that's coming out of the necessity of the moment over in the UK can be applied here in the United States to help us transform our energy system. I'm so excited to be together in person with people and getting out from behind our Zoom screens to build relationships that hopefully will span years and decades.